So today I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about fragrances and how to start finding your very own signature scent. You know, right? That one cologne that speaks to you and says everything about you in just one whiff. Now, I'm not so sure that just one fragrance can completely encompass everything about you and what you want to say, but if you do look hard enough, you will find one that becomes your signature. And that's what we're talking about today. How you can start looking for your very own signature scent. And if that sounds interesting, please settle in for the next couple of minutes because it's all coming right up. All right, welcome back to my channel. And as always, I'm glad that you're here. So first up, gentlemen, a disclaimer. I'm not a fragrance expert. And there's lots of other channels here on YouTube that talk specifically only about fragrances. But in this video, I guess I'd just like to offer my opinion and my suggestions with different ways that can help you find your signature scent. Okay, so the first thing you want to try to figure out is, what do you want your fragrance to say? What mood are you trying to convey? Now, of course, I realize that moods change, and that's why you might need a few different fragrances, but more on that a little bit later. So here's the deal, right? So sometimes men want something from a fragrance that they themselves feel like they might be lacking. For example, maybe you like rebellious bad boy leather or tobacco scents, but you're more of a conservative guy and you don't own a leather jacket or a motorcycle, but you still admire that attitude. If that's the case, try a boozy leather fragrance and see if it suits you. Now, I would suggest sampling different fragrances, right? A fresh one for the day, maybe a spicy one for nighttime, and also try sampling something that maybe you've never even heard of, because that's a really great way to discover something brand new. However, though, notice I said sample. Avoid the mistake of running out and buying the big bottle for several $100s just because maybe your buddy has it and says that you need it. And if you're into sampling, a great way to experiment and try some new fragrances is to use Scentbird. So this is a super low cost fragrance subscription service that lets you choose from over like 600 brands. It's also very flexible, so you can skip any month you want without weird penalties. Scentbird lets you choose a new designer fragrance to try every month for only $16. And every month you get to pick what you want, so there's no surprises. And the other really cool thing is that the samples you get are very large, right? Not those little tiny ones that you get from the mall. So these should last you the entire month. And you also get this really cool case that spins up just like this, and the vial pulls right out. Now, Scentbird is sponsoring today's video because they make it super easy and very affordable to try new fragrances before you run out and commit to the full-size bottle that could easily be a few $100s. Okay, another fresh fragrance that you might be interested in trying is Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Pour Homme. So this is masculine, but also sweet with grapefruit, rosewood, and pepper notes. Again, a great one for the summer. Okay, these next two are gonna be a little darker and sexier. Valentino Uomo Acqua is more savory with iris, mandarin, and leather, which is freaking amazing. The next one is Dunhill Icon Racing. This is a little more spicy, but it also has notes of lavender, grapefruit, pepper, and smoky vetiver, which is great for date night. All right, gentlemen, so if you want to get your own samples heading your way for only $16, I would encourage you to click the link down in the description and use code 40over to save 30% off of that for your first month. Now, for that price, it's kind of a no-brainer. Go check it out. So another thing to avoid is the mistake of blind buying a cologne just because you see a bunch of fragrance YouTubers hyping it up. And that's not to say that these guys aren't right in saying that it's a really good product, because a lot of those guys know what they're talking about. But is it for you? Because that's the question. Okay, so think about it. Who are you and what are you about? Are you wild and daring, or are you more chill and earthy? Also, what do you do and where are you most of the time? Do you work in an office or a bank? Because if so, a strong oud or tobacco scent might not be the best option for that specific environment. But maybe you work in a more creative field. Now with that, you can be a little more unique in that particular setting and it will be more accepted. And here's the other thing, but in my opinion, it's a good idea to have a few different colognes. A daytime cologne and then an evening cologne to begin with. You could also have a cold weather cologne and then one for hot weather. So like a fresh citrus scent or something aquatic would be a great warm weather fragrance for spring and summer. And then something with maybe a little oriental spice or vanilla would be great for date night. And the other thing to remember is that colognes will smell different on those little paper strips at the mall than they do on your skin. Now, I always smell it on the test strips first just to see if I even like it. Then I'll spray the back of my hand and then evaluate over the next couple hours, right? So how do you like the initial top notes? How's the dry down? How long does it even last? So these are all the things that you can sort of figure out just by spraying the back of your hand or your wrist and then sitting with it over the next couple hours. And after all this, if you still don't know where to start, just go for something popular to begin with, and then of course something inexpensive, because the last thing you want to do is drop like $400 on something that you never even wear. Try something familiar that you've heard of before, or even a recommendation from someone who knows you. And if that person happens to have a specific fragrance that you're interested in, and you've smelled it on them and you like it, ask them to try it. I hope you guys like this one, and if so, please tap that like button so the YouTube algorithm knows I'm still alive. All right, live well, my friends, and I'll see you in the next one.